Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Ladies and gentlemen, ever in between, welcome to Talking at 6. I'm your host, 1/6, aka Pre-Captain America, aka Why Does He Have a Floating Bag, aka Just As Funny As You Remember, aka A Dead Film Genre, aka He's Been an Alcoholic Since His First Tour in Numb, aka I sing this song a lot and I still don't know why, aka only on this list because he's a black guy, aka Blink-182 played the prom. We're not Blink-182. We're Good Charlotte. Whatever, motherfucker. AKA so many 80s references. AKA the East Compton Wildcats. They definitely ain't white. AKA the wise janitor. AKA Mullet. Ringwald. She had a cameo at the end. Anyway, today's episode will be discussing / reviewing / taking a trip down memory lane set to the tune of Not Another Teen Movie. So I'm going to start this one off by saying if you haven't seen this movie in a while, do yourself a favor, watch it. It still holds up. Like, it's really great. Still extremely funny. Like, there are some like bits and jokes that just wouldn't pass by today's standards, but that's, true about any movie made more than like 10 years ago. I mean, seriously, this movie was made in like, what, 01? So yeah, it's like 19-year-old movie. Still really funny though. Slightly controversial, but I mean, come on now, man. You gotta learn how to laugh at things. I'm not saying everything is a joke, but also you gotta learn to laugh at the tragedies, You can't just have all good things. I mean, tragedy plus time equals comedy. Plus you gotta learn to laugh at yourself, man. Sometimes you gotta take a joke. Sometimes you just gotta be the punchline, Be punchline rather be the punchline than being punched. Or something like that. But anyway, this movie is like, it starts off just hilarious. Like, the dad's dropping him off on the first day of school, like, just super beat down drunk, like super rusty, like just clearly like super embarrassing and dropped off in the high school moment. But it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, dad pulls up, lets him out. The car, like the door falls off his truck, and they just leave it on the ground. Like, they don't make any attempt whatsoever to pick it up. They don't acknowledge it either. Just completely left, just on the ground, left by the wayside. Just no mention of it. Not even gonna like comment on what happened. Just whatever. Just don't pay attention to it. But it's so funny. And then like before he leaves, like, oh yeah, honey, you're gonna want to find a ride home today. It's like, oh, do you have a job interview? It's like, oh no. No, I'll be drunk. It's like, oh, I guess we don't want you drinking. I was like, oh no, I'll be driving. I'll just be too shit-faced to remember to come get you. Oh man, it's honestly one of the funniest things. Like, not funniest things in the movie, but it's hilarious. It's a really funny moment. Like, yeah, sure, drinking and driving is terrible. Don't drink and drive. Not saying I condone it, but also the fact that her dad, like, it's so self-aware of, like, he knows he's just a joke. Like, he's aware of his drinking problem. He's like also doing nothing about it, which is sad if you think about it, look too far into it. But you don't look good. Just laugh at it. All right, you laugh at the funny joke. You keep it moving. The man says something funny. You laugh at it. You move on with your day. You don't dwell in the tragedy. Like, you gotta laugh at things, You don't laugh at good things. You don't laugh at funny things. Well, you laugh at funny things. You don't laugh when good things happen to you. You laugh when bad things happen. You gotta laugh at it to ease the pain. You laugh at it to get over. You can't be stuck on the tragedy, dwell on it. You gotta laugh at it. Just laugh loud and menacingly. Maybe not menacingly. You don't want to terrify people, unless you do want to terrify people. I mean, sometimes terrifying people is pretty funny, unless they start screaming. So much screaming. Anyway, back to the movie. As her dad was pulling up, he hits one of the cheerleaders, like, and she like flies in the air, does like super elaborate flip, and like they catch her right before her, and then when he hits her, she like does this. It's basically the same thing. It's like almost the same clip, except she just lands in the back of the truck. Lands in the back of the truck head first, with legs dangling in the air, just super comically. Yeah, I get it, comedically dangling, but shut up, it's funny. Anyway. It's like, just leave her. He drives off. Like, no one tries to get her out of the truck. No one mentions she's back there. He just drives off with a kid in the back of the truck. Like, no one attempts to stop him anyway. But then you get one of the first, actually, it's not the first, but it's one of the first call out bits in the movie, which this movie does a lot of really great call out gags where like, he's driving off and he's like driving through the grass, under the grass, like almost hits a bunch of kids, like, get out of the road. And it's like, movie's really great at those moments. Like, it's has a lot of those bits where it's like off screen, like someone yells something really funny, or like just adds to it that was like clearly like, oh, that was clearly added. I was like, that wasn't in the scene. That was clearly like added afterwards, voiceover after they're seeing this film. But it's hilarious. Like we has a lot of really great one of those. Like towards the end of the movie, there's one where her best friend shows up. He shows up at the airport to try to stop her from leaving. He's all bloody and broken, and he's like dragging one of his legs, and he just like fights his way to the top stairs. And he's at the top of the stairs, and the lady walks by and is like, "You're bleeding on my suitcase." It's so stupid. It's so funny though. Like it's completely, I won't say completely unnecessary, but it's a hilarious bit that I feel like doesn't get enough love, doesn't get done enough. Some a few things, like a lot of comedic bits are like overdone or just constantly used or way overused and just ran to the ground. This one does not get enough love. Like The Simpsons does it really well. Like there's the screen call outs and like the inaudible screaming, like the random like words thrown into the middle of just gibberish. Like there's the one where the episode with Chester A. Lampwick, the creator of Itchy the mouse from Itchy and Scratchy, when he's at dinner and Bart's trying to help him get his cartoon back, and he's at dinner. Grandpa's like, "I remember you. I gave you a pan of corn muffins to paint my chicken coop. Those corn muffins were lousy. Paint my chicken coop." It's like, corn muffins were lousy. Paint my chicken coop. Make me. And he hops across the table and starts beating him. And then it happens again when they go to court, and he's at court and Krusty recognizes him. It's like, "Yeah, I gave him a plate of blintzes to paint my fence. Those blintzes were lousy. Paint my fence. Make me." And Krusty just rushes him up the witness stand, starts beating him. "You give me back those blintzes." Then just in the middle of like punches and like screaming and just fight noises and their classic cartoon dust cloud, and there's just stars everywhere, and like you see random fists flying out, and Krusty just yells, "You give me back those blintzes." Then and just like kind of buried, like muffled. Kind of just says the delivery's kind of muffled, and it's like buried under a bunch of other audio, like the audio of them fighting. But it's really really funny. Like if you catch it. Also another one Simpson does really great. It's a Halloween episode, Time Travel Toaster. Like Homer gets his hand stuck in a toaster, and he just calls out, "Dad, your hand's stuck in a toaster!" And he's just screaming and like bashing it on the counter. It's like, "Get this off of me! Get just the completely unintelligible screaming, like can't understand anything he's saying, but he's just high pitched screaming while bashing the toaster in. Hilarious moment. Like honestly, one of my favorite Simpsons moments, and there's a lot of great ones, but it's so good. Like it's just completely unnecessary. And then like he finally gets the toaster off, relaxes, slides down, sits down, his hand's back in it. "Dad, your hand's in a toaster again!" And just the whole thing kicks back up. So great. That's also another great bit. It was like you just go this like crazy insane moment, and it finally dies down, and then the same thing picks back up. Kind of reminds me of Benny Hill, or the Benny Hill intro. I've never actually saw the Benny Hill show, but the intro song is hilarious, and the whole bit of like some people just running down the street in a chase scene and comedic, and then like it comes back the other way, and then eventually like it flips who's chasing who, kind of like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo had really great chase scenes, but a pup named Scooby-Doo had the best chase scenes, like top chase scenes, mostly because of the chase music. Like nobody else has done chase music like Scooby-Doo, like a pup named Scooby-Doo. And then the dance break in the middle, and it always like turns out that the monsters like dancing with them, or is like in the band playing drums or something. It's just like completely crazy. Shout out to Hanna-Barbera, man. Like those shows are awesome, even if they do rip themselves off a lot. Looking at you, Jabberjaw, you know what you did. Anyway, back to Not Another Teen movie. Back to like background things that go unnoticed. The Marilyn Manson cover of Tainted Love like is in a lot of these scenes. Like it's played in the background. Like the first time it's played, it's like it's kind of noticeable. It's like I want to say it's when Jake walks in, like his sister walks in, Tainted Love starts playing. And then like every scene after that, like it's played in, is super quiet in the background. Like it's not like as noticeable. Like everything else is way louder than it. I don't know if that's like an intentional choice or just like bad editing, but like it's hilarious. And it's like, wait a minute, what's that? Is that Tainted Love playing again? Like how many songs they get? This is the only song they got for the soundtrack. Like why did they play this one song so much? And it's never like the noticeable like chorus or like any of the actual words. It's just the like intro where it's just the music playing. It's strictly the instrumental part of Tainted Love. So it's like if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't like pick up on it. But it's so funny. It's so like I don't even know if that's a joke, but it made me laugh. It's like that song's playing again. Like they play that one song over and over again. Oh, also speaking of great call outs, when Jake's sister walks in and like in slow-mo walking, everybody's looking at her and it's like, it's like Michael yells out, "What's she doing here? Didn't she graduate 4 years ago?" It's just like never acknowledged again through the rest of the movie that she's like hanging out with a bunch of high school kids and at the high school and looking at prom and stuff, but she graduated 4 years ago. Why is she still here? Like, no one questions it. No one calls it out ever. Like, that one person calls it out off screen and they never acknowledge it in the actual movie. Like, it's so good. It's such a great bit. It makes the whole thing even funnier to realize, okay, not only is she completely psychotic, like, she's not even in the high school anymore. Like, why is she still here? It's so great. Oh, man, it's so funny. Speaking, still on the topic of unnoticed things, John Benjamin. Like, I didn't know who he was when I saw this movie. I don't know what he was doing around this time, but like, John Benjamin's the trainer, the football game, the one that says Reggie Ray, like, like Reggie Ray has another concussion. He's like, wait, and the coach is like, can he play? He's like, I don't think he can breathe. Can he play? And they just put him back in a game tied to two other players. It's completely terrible move. Just completely stupid. They just push him over. So great. Also, that football game has one of the best musical cues in it. That "There Goes My Hero" when Jake throws the super long pass. There goes my hero. Just completely misses the receiver. Completely overthrows the pass, misses the wide receiver completely, and just hits Reggie Ray in the head again, just taking him out. Like, his final concussion was wasted on him getting hit in the head with a football. So great. Another background comedic scene, actually related to this one, when they're trying to go Reggie Ray's on the stretcher at the end of the game, like, and everyone's leaving, and like, it's when Jake and Janie are talking, and like, they're trying to get Reggie Ray in the ambulance, and like, the stretcher like falls apart and they drop him and like, he rolls off. It's like, why did they wait till the game was over to get him out of there? Like, shouldn't they have been like, got him out to the hospital like a long time ago? They're still just there. They waited for the game to end. It's so funny, dude. It's so stupid. Just so many great moments that are just completely, I don't even know, I won't say unnecessary, but like, just logically not sound, which makes them funny, because like, defying the logic of, not even like, I don't know, like defying logic in the sense of this wouldn't be happening, this shouldn't happen, or this is impossible. It's more in the funny sense of like, these are hilarious. Like, man, like, yeah, plan A, you got two options how to do this. There's A and there's B. Also, there's C, which is completely which makes no sense. Stupid. And why would anyone ever take C? They always take C. Like, you always take plan C. Like, it makes no sense. It's completely stupid. It's like, yeah, but was it funny? Did you enjoy it? And the answer is usually yes. Like, the answer is usually yes. Like, the whole, like, the makeover reveal when she's walking down the stairs, and like, her foot gets stuck in the one stair, like, she trips a little, it's like, oh, hi, it's cute. Then her foot gets stuck in the stair, and like, she finally rips it out and falls forward, just face plants through the stairs. Just completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Subverting expectations. Or like, you're expecting her to be like, oh yeah, the classic, like, oh, pretty girl makeover, like, when she walks downstairs and has the slow-mo walk and a great moment, but she just gets stuck in the stairs and face plants, fall downstairs, and the rug pulls down, and the table comes down and drops on top of her, and no one's concerned at all. It's like, she just fell face first into the basement, and no one is concerned about it at all. That's like, all right, get out of here, sweetie, quit farting around. It's such a great moment. Like, her dad is like one of the best and worst characters ever. Like, he's such a great character. Like, at the end of the movie where he's having the Vietnam flashback, and then just Jake just asks where Janie is, and like, doesn't try to help him in any way. Doesn't like try to talk him down. Doesn't like try to get, like, doesn't offer any help whatsoever. Just lets the man be completely insane under the table. He's under the kitchen table wearing his old war helmet, holding a dog bone like a gun, and no one assists him in any way. Just let him go. Just let him run with it. Hilarious moment. And then when her best friend shows up and he leaves, he's like leaving, and those bicyclists hit him, like, he's like right in the middle, like, Shane's trying to dodge them, trying to get him out. It's like, trying to shake it off, goes to walk away, and the bus hits him. But also, the bus happens to be going to the airport, where he was headed. So the question is, did he make the bus stop so they could like scrape him off the front, or did he just ride all the way there on the front of a bus? They never really explain that. I mean, it doesn't really need to be explained, but it's pretty funny. I guess it's self-explanatory when he shows up to the airport all broken, his legs all broken and sideways, and he's bloody, and he's just like dragging it along because he can't lift it. He's completely destroyed, and then he steals that guy's slow clap moment. He just completely steals that guy's slow clap moment, just completely ruins it. He's guy's been trying to slow clap the whole movie. Finally, he finds the right time, and someone else steals his moments, and he just starts beating him. That one's great. Molly Ringwald's there. Shout out to Molly. Ringwald. But yeah, dude, she's there because clearly the movie like rips off, you know, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, just all the classic like 80s teen movies, which kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't. I guess it does. The movie came out in like '01, so like I guess people would be old enough to be watching that movie would get the movies that it's parodying, would get the joke, would realize it's a parody, but also honestly, like, you don't even look at it as a parody, it's still funny. Like, I mean, it has the whole Bring It On plot line, which is like, that was just that in none of it's a movie. It's funny because they handled it in a comedic way, but the fact that Bring It On was a movie, was a film series. Like, it wasn't just one movie, it wasn't one off. It didn't just, oh yeah, it had a sequel. There's like 4 or 5 Bring It On movies, and I think like the first 3 went to theaters, and like 4 and 5 were straight to DVD. And it's just, why? Who needs 5 movies of this plot? Like, this is so stupid and unnecessary. It's like cheerleading rivalries. Yeah, no one cares. Like, who saw these movies? Who went to go see these movies? If you saw those movies, let me know in the comments. Like, maybe don't let me know in the comments, because God, why? Just Bring It On. Like, it makes no sense. It's not even like it's like, oh yeah, the same characters either. It's like every movie was like a completely different cast. It's like, how many times can you redo? It's kind of like, I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh, well, Fast and Furious has, yeah, but Fast and Furious has the same cast and like somewhat has a canon and like an established storyline they keep moving forward. Sure, it's completely ridiculous, and every movie gets more and more over the top. And at one point, they're like running from a submarine and shooting torpedoes at them. That's completely ridiculous. That's insane. But the Fast and Furious series has never taken itself seriously. It never established that it was a serious, grounded in reality movie. It was like kind of like gritty, kind of like actiony movie in the first one. And then the second one just kind of went stupid. God, how did they get past the second one? Like, the second one went for it. The second one went all in. The second one went comedy. The first one was like gritty action movie. This about like street racers robbing trucks. The second one went straight comedy. Like, it didn't even, the plot made no sense. It was so stupid. He's in Miami for some reason. Like, you flew it from LA to Miami and no one saw you. And like, he gave Dom his car. So did he take Dom's wrecked car, or did the cops come get him? I'm pretty sure it was explained, or maybe it wasn't. I honestly didn't care. I still don't care. Like, if you watch Fast and Furious movies for the plot, like, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? You don't watch it for the plot. You just watch it because it's crazy action and with awesome cars, and they drive fast and they jump off of stuff, and it's crazy, and explosions, and it's explosions. Shout out to Mr. Torque. Oh man, speaking of great characters, Mr. Torque, great character. Explosions. But back to the Molly Ringwald tangent. Well, not directly, but in the vein of that, Melissa Joan Hart's in this movie. Like, she has a cameo. She's at the party and like explains to the guy that's trying to start slow clap, explains the whole like slow clap dynamic on, what's the word I'm looking for? Slow clap ethics, not ethics, but basically explains like, when the time comes, you'll know. Like, this isn't a great time for a slow clap. When the time comes, you'll know. And it's just like, that's it. She's in that movie at one spot and disappears and never seen again. It's just like, you got Melissa Joan Hart. Like, 2001, Melissa Joan Hart was a pretty big deal. You got her do a one-off cameo for just the dumbest part of this movie. And like, the dumbest subplot of the movie is that guy trying to start a slow clap. He has like 3 scenes. He has that one at the party where she explains it's not a good time. There's another one where he tries to start a slow clap and it's just another horrible time. And everyone, it's at the football game when Jake misses the pass and everyone's just like shocked and staring on in silence. And he's like, just trying to start a slow clap and just also a bad time. And then the airport where he goes to start it, and right before he can, someone else, the other guy starts it, so he just beats him. I keep dwelling on that because it's hilarious. Like, this guy got hit by a bus. He got hit by 2 buses, actually. Yeah, dude got hit by a bus twice. He's just horribly broken and bleeding. And he just watched the girl of his dreams leave with some other guy. And then he starts a slow clap. Some guy beats him up because he started a slow clap. Like, that's just funny, man. Like, how bad can you truly have it? Like, possibly the worst luck ever, but hilarious. So it's just handled in a really funny way. And then like the whole like thing with the like bed for prom, like that's, you know, played out stereotype of like blah blah blah, like cliche. That's the word I'm looking for. A movie cliche of just almost every teen movie does something similar. Either does that or does something similar, but just, yeah, man, it's not a great one. Also, if you made it this far and you still dwelling on the whole Good Charlotte thing, like, what's wrong with you? Yet again, what's wrong with you? All right, I thought It was Blink 182. Mostly because you barely see the band. You see the band for like half a second. It sounded familiar. I thought the lead singer looked like the lead singer from Blink 182. Only person in Blink 182 I recognize is Travis Barker. But even then, I don't recognize him if like before he got all his tattoos, and if he doesn't have the mohawk, it's hard for me to tell. Like his tattoos are covered, and you can't see his hair. It's hard for me to tell. All right, I'm not the biggest Blink fan. All right, I'm not really a fan of Get Charlotte. I mean, Get Charlotte had what? Lifestyles Original Famous, and then the Anthem, and then that's kind of it. Also, speaking of Get Charlotte, I gotta call this out because I'm thinking about this one all the time. They got famous. The fact that they got famous for the song Lifestyles Original Famous, where they call out rich people for being jerks and just complaining about nothing and not having any real problems in life. A, that song made them famous. B, their episode of Punk'd, where it's like the whole setup, the whole premise is like their car fell off the back of a tow truck, crashed to another guy's window, like bloodied up his face, like messed up his face. He's bloody. He's like mad because their car hit his. And the tow truck driver ran off. And so when they show up, they see their car hanging off the tow truck. And they're like trying to I forgot what happened. And the guy's like yelling at them. It's like, wait, this is your car? Like, everyone's like, dude, get out of here. Like, they just completely ignore the guy who's like injured and clearly needs to go to the hospital. Someone go to the hospital, but like he's being like trying to argue about it. And they're just like ignoring him. Like, they're more worried about their truck being there, like their truck hanging off the back of the tow truck and the tow truck driver being gone. Trying to figure out what's happening with their car. and it's just like, yeah, life's also rich and famous. Man, aren't rich people the worst? They have no problems. They just complain about the dumbest things. Like, dude, you guys, literally, you're doing the thing you complain about. Like, you're giant hypocrites right now. But no one called them out. Then again, they weren't really relevant after that, so I guess calling them out kind of be pointless. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is, Good Charlotte were hypocrites. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I lost myself on this one. I thought I was going somewhere with this one. I don't even know how I got this far, where I'm at, or how to bring it back in any way, except for the fact of shout out to Chris Evans. Like, he was in this movie. Like, he was pretty ripped in this too. Like, this is pre-Captain America, Chris Evans. Pre-Fantastic Four. Like, he's already pretty ripped, and he's hilarious. Like, he's genuinely funny in this movie. Like, dude can deliver comedic lines in a great way. Like, he's really believable. He's really funny. And also that scene where he shows up at the hotel looking for Janie. She's not there, and it's just like his ex-girlfriend, his like the other football player that I don't even know if they're friends or not. Like, the guy he kind of friends with, kind of has a rivalry with. Then his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend who's there with his camera and his bag, and it's super weird. And he just knocks them all out. And like, he goes to leave and then comes back and punches the bag too. Like, he punched the floating bag. Once again, stupid, unnecessary, but hilarious. Like, makes that scene. There's a lot of great things in that scene, but it's the perfect topper for that scene. Like, coming back and punching the bags, like, yeah, and then walks away like all accomplished, like he really did something. Great moment. Great moment. And then follow that up with the whole him just ripping speeches from Molly Ringwald movies while Molly Ringwald's right there and calling him out on it. So then, like, he tells her the truth. It's like, yeah, you're right. You know what? You probably should just go. You know, we're probably not going to work out anyway. It's like, what? Because that super elaborate speech is, like, super real. And it's, like, about how he's, like, going to cheat on her. And it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't really think I wouldn't realize you totally ripped that off from Karate Kid. It's just like, this movie, like, say what you want. It's stupid. A lot of things are unnecessary. It just misses. It just, I don't know, man. But, like, that joke right there, like, the detail of that speech and how serious it was, but the fact that, like, she thought it came from Karate Kid. Like, I'm gonna go in here and say she's never seen Karate Kid. I've never seen Karate Kid. It's just Cobra Kai looks dope, but you know, I don't know. I'm not big on the whole like go back and watch. I tried, man. All right, I tried watching Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme. That whole movie makes absolutely no sense. Like, not even like, the Kumasai be the fight to the death in Karate Island. That whole plot is dope. The fact that Jean-Claude Van Damme is supposed to be like an American kid, the guy from Brussels, the guy that has like the most distinct and like a serious accent, we're supposed to buy that he's just an American kid. Like, really? Like, oh yeah, he's American. It's like, no, he's not. I mean, yeah, he might live in America. Like, yeah, but also like that accent, we're supposed to just buy. He's just a normal American suburban kid. Yep, that learned karate from his neighbor. Yeah, his neighbor taught him how to fight. It's like, oh, that's believable. Just, you could have just not played up the whole, like, oh, he's a super American. He's not, dude. But shout out to Jean-Claude Van Damme. Also, Boondocks lied to you, man. Attack of the Kung Fu Killer Wolf bitch. Kumite. Yeah. It built that shit up way too much. It built the Kumite up way too much. Like, oh, I thought I heard the Kumite was a death match. Kumite ain't no damn death match. Not one person in that movie had to fight to the death. Not one fight in the Kumite was a fight to the death. Everybody got hurt. So it was implied that some people might die. It's implied that Jackson might die. The other American is implied that he might die from his injuries. He didn't. He lived through it. Nobody got their heart ripped out. Nobody got fatality'd. This wasn't Mortal Kombat. And I know it's not Mortal Kombat, but still, like, there was no way anyone died in that Kumite. It wasn't that intense. The fights weren't that crazy. The like main like crazy fighter, like almost villain, the guy basically the antagonist was like, and it was kind of dope though, like the super crazy eyed, like intense, I feel no pain looking dude. He was pretty awesome. That was hilarious. That was definitely great. Like, he was honestly one of the best parts of that movie. Like, he was funny, this crazy dude just like destroying guys in the ring. That was pretty dope. But also, like, the fight scenes weren't that believable. Like, it was shot from too, like, again, in the 80s, but it's like, it was shot from too far away to where, like, you can tell, like, the blows weren't landing in any way. And it's just like, man, I thought this movie would be way better. Like, this movie built up, like, it was built up for so long. Like, so many things reference Bloodsport and reference Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, he's so much. I was like, don't get me wrong, he seemed cool. He seemed like a dope action hero. Like, it seemed like he had his dope moments. Things he did look dope. Like, you know, he was, like, super in shape and looked cool. But it's just like, I don't know. I guess it's just like the advancement of technology and like filming and like we have CGI now. Everyone doesn't think it's CGI, but like, dude, John Wick looked dope. Like, John Wick, like, straight up hand to hand combat could probably take out Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport. Like, no guns involved. Like, John Wick looks more like detailed fighting. There's more detailed fighting in John Wick. Like, he killed a man with a pencil. He killed 2 men with a pencil. With a pencil. Who does that? But no, like, slight spoiler. John Wick 3, when he, like, destroys that guy in the library with that book, like, that super giant dude, and he just has a book and he just beats him down, like, just one-on-one completely destroys that guy. Or when he's fighting that other guy that just respects him so much, and, like, they're both just beaten and broken, and, like, John eventually wins the fight and leaves the guy alive, and he's just so hurt, like, he's probably gonna die from his injury, but he's like, oh, yeah. All right, John. Like, he still respects him. He's like, yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'll get up. I'll get up soon. We'll have a rematch eventually. And he's like, that guy's gonna die. You're gonna die. Oh man. Shout out to Guns N' Roses. Actually, no, not shout out to Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the Jungle is dope. Sweet Child of Mine is dope. But, you know, shout out to what is it? Zaz Blemmy Mataz, Dr. Roxo, aka Giant Parody and Axl Rose, aka possibly, we ain't even gonna go there. We ain't gonna touch on that one. We just gonna go ahead and walk away. You know, we ain't gonna dive into that. I don't know enough about the man to talk about him. I don't know enough about the Guns N' Roses to fully talk about them. So we gonna walk away from that. We gonna go back to the movie. We gonna go back to Chris Evans, funny guy, funny guy. Oh, almost completely missed this topic completely. The fact that family is extremely disturbed. Like, when he comes home after his girlfriend broke up with him and his dad tries to set him up with his mom. He's like, I have the perfect girlfriend. He's like, Dad, that's Mom. And he just walks out. So I'm gonna leave you two alone. His dad walks out. It's like, what is wrong with this family? It's so good. It's so, like, disturbing. Genuinely disturbing, man. Like, it's really creepy. Also, oh man, I mentioned it earlier, never touched on it at all. Jokes that wouldn't land now. First off, the football game with the East Compton Wildcats, like the cheerleading thing, like, that wouldn't land now. It's like, we ain't white, we definitely ain't white. Break it down, nigga. Would not land now. Still funny to me. Like, I still find it hilarious. Like, damn, those bitches represent. Hilarious. Probably wouldn't fly now. For a lot of reasons, but also, like, tensions are the way they are right now. You probably don't want to probably don't want to, don't want to look into the whole, don't want to kind of want to try to avoid that whole cultural appropriation thing, situation. That may be a bad topic to touch on right now, even though that moment is still hilarious to this day. Like, it's so funny. It's like, no, we definitely didn't steal your routine. It just goes directly into their routine. Doesn't even change the team name. Just, like, clearly stole their routine. It's like, yeah, that's the joke, but still hilarious. There's the part where Jake's singing to Janie on the football field, and, like, Janie's got a gun. Janie's got a gun, run. Everybody just runs away screaming. She's like, wait, what? No, what? And he's just like singing and not looking at her, so he has no idea what's going on. And security shows up and they start chasing her and they tase her. She's like on the ground, like foaming at the mouth, and dude's just tasing the shit out of her. It's so good. Like granted, that would not fly today at all for several reasons, but man, is that moment hilarious. And I'm not gonna say that like you can't make a good movie, you can't make a good team movie without like you can't make this movie. Oh, you can't make these movies good anymore. Like I said, it's dying film time. I'm not gonna say you can't make these movies good anymore because like there's too many jokes you can't touch on, so many things, too many topics you can't handle. It's just I don't know. It's just the execution isn't great, or maybe I'm too old to watch them. Like watch The Binge on Hulu. Don't recommend it. Not a great movie. Long story short, it's basically a ripoff of The Purge, where like drugs and alcohol are illegal in the future, except for one day for 12 hours. All drugs and alcohol are legal, and anyone 18 and above can participate in it. I'm not gonna fully go into the rant about this because I've done it multiple times. It's not a great movie. Vince Vaughn's in it. He's cool, but it's like it's just not that funny. Like there's not really anything too memorable about it. And honestly, one of the few things I remember about it is honestly a terrible moment. It's like at the end, these guys doing like Scarface impressions, but the guy's like basically he's never seen Scarface. Like all his impressions are horrible. It's like he's like kind of just like improv. It's like oh yeah, talk about Scarface. Like oh yeah, it's like oh I got a scar on my face, and it's just like dude, have you not seen Scarface? They like his friend literally called him. I was like, have you not seen Scarface? Like they're super mad at him, and then eventually like he pulls it together at the end and does the say goodnight to the bad guy monologue, which is like it's a pretty dope speech. It's pretty cool. Like it's delivered decently, but it's also like that's not enough to like save that moment. It's like, yeah, cool, you did one of like the most iconic speeches from that movie, but before that you just completely floundered. You didn't even like, it wasn't even like he did Scarface quotes and like delivered them poorly. You just did a bunch of ranting, like a bunch of stupid, like made up Scarface moments that aren't really from the movie, that aren't really about Scarface, that aren't related to anything at all, and then try to do like one decent one. Like I'm not even gonna say good, like, you know, it wasn't like, oh my god, like super crazy, but it's like you did one decent one. You did one decent one after that, and like, oh, that's supposed to make up for it. It's like, no, it didn't. All right, this movie was terrible. There was really nothing that funny. Like there were some funny moments about it. There's some things that like, oh man, I wish they would have dived deeper into that. It was like, or elaborated on that more. It would have been a better movie. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like, meh. I mean, straight to Hulu. But no, because Hulu has some great stuff. Like the series Woke. If you haven't seen Woke, definitely recommend checking that out. That is hilarious. It's a hilarious series, man. There's a lot of great talent in that. A lot of great voice actors. Like, there's voice actors because inanimate objects come to life. I'm not going to fully dive into that because that might be that's an episode in itself. But highly recommend checking out Woke. It's another great movie. Highly recommend checking out another teen movie. Whether you've seen it before or if you've never seen it or you just haven't seen it in a long time. Highly recommend checking out Not Another Teen Movie. It's great. It's definitely worth the watch. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now because I kind of lost the thread to this rant several times and I honestly don't know how to bring it back. I'm pretty sure I covered everything I needed to. Basically, I'm saying watch the movie. All right. But yeah, as usual, guys, thanks for checking out this episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Follow me on Facebook at Talking That 6. Follow me on Twitter at Talk That 6. And remember, I might not be the greatest. I might not be shit, but I will always talk that 6.